everyone, Brandon's back with a new episode of SexxPerTease. Today's question is, so I was talking to this guy online and he was cute and the conversation was going well, but then he told me he's HIV positive. I mean, a lot of people act like it's not that big of a deal nowadays, but I just don't think it's something I'm comfortable with, like hooking up or having sex with a guy that's HIV positive. So even though I did think he was cute and the conversation was nice, just how can I stop talking to him without coming across like a total asshole? So I guess the question is, how do I reject this guy that's HIV positive because it's not something you're comfortable with? Well, first and foremost, HIV stigma is still very much alive, even though a lot of people still act like HIV is either a non-issue nowadays, or people still like have reckless sex because they are like, whatever, HIV is not going to happen to me. But in reality, HIV rates are still on the rise, especially among gay men of color, especially the Black and Latino population. So it's important to always protect yourself, and you are most likely, as a gay man, you will come across guys either in person or online that you did think were cute, and then you find out they're HIV positive. I mean, it happens to literally everyone. I mean, I've come across guys I thought they were cute, and then you read their profile and it says they're positive, or you meet a guy at a bar or club, and then they'll tell you they're positive, etc. So like, it's impossible to not come in contact with someone that's HIV positive, especially nowadays since HIV is still very much in part of the gay community and gay experience. But I do think that there is a lot of people, I guess, act like you're a horrible person if you reject someone that's HIV positive, and people don't, I guess, understand that that's still something people are uncomfortable with, even though I do realize, like, it is a tricky issue, but I do think that it's fine to reject someone that's HIV positive if that's something that you're not comfortable with. I mean, it still is a deadly disease. It can lead to AIDS, but I mean, it's definitely treatable and manageable, etc. It's not a death sentence nowadays to people that can afford healthcare, etc. But if you do, for any reason, not have health insurance, I do think it's best to avoid people that are HIV positive. But on the other hand, you don't really know who is HIV positive and HIV negative because lots of people aren't getting tested, lots of people aren't managing their health, or people just don't care, and people can lie. So you always have to be proactive about your health. So you are still at risk, even if you know a guy is HIV positive versus a guy you don't know his status, etc. So you always have to be protecting yourself in equal amounts. And there are things like PrEP nowadays that can pretty much prevent you from getting HIV, but you do have to be able to afford it. You do have to have health care. You do have to be able to have access to it. So if that's not something you have or are willing to get, etc., then I guess it's completely fine that you are just not comfortable with someone that's HIV positive. I mean, I do think it's okay to say that you are not open to HIV positive guys. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, it's understandable. But on the other hand, you do still have to be proactive. You have to be alert and aware that you are at risk for HIV with every sexual encounter you have. So as long as you're being safe and thinking smartly and just making great decisions, like, if you encounter a guy that's HIV positive versus a guy that's HIV negative, like, as long as you're always practicing safe sex, you should be able to protect yourself, like condoms, PrEP, etc. So on one hand, I guess I can see people not thinking that it's okay to reject people that are HIV positive just because that you can prevent it, but then again, nothing is 100% effective. So I just think if you are uncomfortable with this guy, you should just tell him that you're not pause friendly and that it's just you're not interested. But on the other hand, you could end up, like, if the conversation's going well and you are attracted to him, maybe you could just go on a date. Like, there's no harm in that. Like, the only risk comes is if you are engaging in unprotected sexual activities. So as long as you just, like, went out on a date, there shouldn't be any harm in that, especially if you went to the lengths to, maybe if you had a good time with him, you could see each other again and research stuff. I don't know. It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot to process and handle. But if you did like him and you do think maybe I should give him a chance, if you're open and willing to that, you can research ways to protect yourself. Like, you can get on PrEP, you can use condoms if you still want to give this guy a chance, but you are dead set on you want nothing to do with this person because they're HIV positive, you just politely say it's just not something you're comfortable with. I mean, I'm sure they've heard it before. A lot of people are still afraid to admit to HIV that they are positive because there is such a stigma still out there, and they do face tons of rejection from people, which is why some people choose to hide it, which is part of the problem. But yeah, just politely decline. Don't be a bitch about it, or like don't just ignore them or be rude and say I don't want AIDS or whatever. But yeah, just politely reject them and just make sure that you, I guess, research it, because this will be something that happens more than once. You will come in contact with multiple guys that you probably think are cute, and then you find out they're positive. So just research ways to protect yourself, maybe get on PrEP if you can, and yeah. I hope that helped answer your question. And please submit more questions to me at SexxxPerTease.com.